You are listening to Single Smart Female, Romantic Fairy Godmama Edition.
Today's show is brought to you by thelovesickcure.com. Does your love life suck because you can't move on from the idea of him? Does every man you meet pale in comparison to the way he made you feel? It's okay, lady love. We 100% understand and have been there before. Whether you'd like the opportunity to get him back or to completely move on, we know this only happens when you cure your heartbreak and love sickness. Let us help you do that today at thelovesickcure.com.
Hello, single smart female. Jen and Jen here, your romantic fairy godmamas, coming at you with a topic. We actually have a topic today that we are talking about. And that topic is overcoming hyperfocus that leads to obsession.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, this is an exciting topic. This is an exciting topic because this is something I used to suffer from frequently. I was a card-carrying, obsessive woman.
Me as well.
And there were some, I don't even, gosh, think about some of the embarrassing shit I did. No bunny boiling, but
oh my gosh, terrifying.
Yeah, right? I no cruelty to animals.
Right. Yeah, and I never got to stalker level, thank goodness.
I did a little.
Okay. But I became super mentally focused, like all of my thoughts, and I couldn't sleep, and there were times that I might not be able to eat because I would get upset.
Isn't it the worst feeling in the world?
So bad.
And we think it's love. It's just a really extreme form of hyperfocus.
Right.
It's nuts. It's something that we're doing to ourselves, which is crazy, and it feels so external. But I hate to say this, and I know I'm going to hurt some women when I say this, but it's a choice. It's a choice we make.
It is a choice, and there's a place you can catch yourself, but it's recognizing where that place is.
Okay, so, I want to start today's topic with why so many women are this way. And I'm going to speak a lot from personal experience. And Jen, of course, you're going to speak from yours. I've had extreme levels of this. So this is something I speak with a lot of authority on. And I also know what it's like to be on the other side, which is such a better place to be, ladies. So take a deep breath and let's dive into this. And we're talking first.
Okay.
Yeah, wait, let you take your breath. Ready?
It's like yoga. Okay.
Yes. My nose is all snotty right now. I didn't want to do that in the mic, but it happened. Sorry, ladies. Okay. Why? Why are we hyper-focused? So there is, and you've heard me talk about this before, there's this push in society to make men the prize. We focus on what men want, what men need, what men think, all kinds of stuff. And men are not studying us to this same level like we are willing to study men. So there's also this other idea out there that if you're a smart, ambitious woman and you are kicking ass and taking names and moving up, ready to take on the world, that somehow you have to sacrifice love. So there's a desperate piece that falls in there because we're getting messages that these type of women aren't wanted by men. And that's a fucking lie. I'm going to tell you, ladies, that again and again and again. That's not what's actually happening here. That's not why so many relationships are falling apart. That's not why you don't have somebody in your life. It's not because men don't want you. Men desperately want you. It's how we're interacting with men that makes it where things fall apart. And this hyper-focus and obsession that turns into obsession is a big piece of that. So we're doing it the why because of this disconnect. Also, we're being fed a lot of stuff about soulmates. And yes, I believe in soulmates, but I don't believe in one fucking soulmate. I decided a long time ago that to limit my options of love to that one person meant that I couldn't have love over a lifetime, or that would make it extraordinarily challenging. And that's, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, right. Like, what if that one person is in the total opposite, on the other total opposite side of the world too?
You're not supposed to have love ever until you meet them when you're 65.
Right.
Or let's say you've been with the love of your life for 20 years and he dies when you're 65. Are you never supposed to have love again? And that idea makes me so sad. And I realized there was something fundamentally wrong with that idea. So I do believe in soulmates, but I believe in multiple soulmates. There are multiple amazing connections and options for you if you decide to be in a long-term relationship. And also, I want to speak to my women who don't know if they really want to be in a long-term relationship. Does that mean something's wrong with you? No, you are very entitled and should take advantage of your ability to date. So soulmates are another thing. Fear of male attention. Why we hyper-focus on men. It's because we're really afraid. A lot of us are really afraid of the other attention from other men because we don't know how to manage male attention. We make it mean something in our heads that it doesn't. So for instance, we think a lot of us, if you really uncover stuff, and listen to me for a second when I tell you this, ladies, when you uncover stuff, don't shut this down yet. This happens a lot. We don't look men in the eyes. We don't talk to men because we're afraid that they're going to interpret any of our attention as sexual attention, and meaning that we're saying yes to their sexual attention as well. It doesn't mean that. Just because you go on a date with somebody doesn't mean you're consenting to all of their sexual attention and their sexual advances. Now, of course, at some point, if you decide you want to be sexual with them, I want to give you full permission to be the sexual woman that you are. But I want you to understand that not allowing other men to see you by shutting your attention down, you are saying that you're afraid of male attention. And I don't want you to be afraid of male attention. You can, as an adored woman, 100% learn how to manage that attention. Jen, I know you've been stepping more into that recently and you've gotten a lot better with it.
Yes, absolutely. And I was the person who was terrified to look a man in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that was so scary for me.
Exactly. And that's just a small part of this. It's much bigger than just even being able to look somebody in the eyes.
Right. Absolutely. And I would get overwhelmed with attention sometimes. And I'm not saying I'm the hottest woman in the world.
I am. I'm saying she's the hottest woman in the world.
But
she does get a lot of male attention.
Which is nice. It's really nice. But
because you know how to manage it now.
Yeah, I know how to manage it. Absolutely.
But before, I'm sure it shut you down at times, and it was.
I would shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
I would, with my body language, with my energy, I would shut it down, and I probably lost out on some good opportunities there.
Now I will say that I have ladies that come to me and say I never get hit on. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not that you're physically unattractive, which some people will lead you to believe. It's not that at all. It's your physical energy being socially. It's not, you haven't learned how to invite it yet. And there's a balance between, okay, so if I tell you to go out there and flirt, which is, it's very cliche to say that, but let me bear with me for a second. Let me give you an example. And you go out there and you're very awkward with it, and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know how to have fun with it, it's going to come off as desperate. Plus, if it does happen to stimulate male attention, there's a good chance it's going to make you feel highly uncomfortable because you don't know how to manage male attention yet. You don't know how to interact with men in a way that you know that you can, if it goes too far, that you're comfortable stopping it instead of being afraid that it might happen at all. So is that clear when I said that, Jen?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I just want all of you ladies to be aware and the why there's fear of male attention. And some of this fear also comes from women's past experiences. You know, you've had some shitty experiences with men, so you're afraid of either being vulnerable because you might get your heart broken, or you just don't want the creepers. And I get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Now,
Jen, can I interject a safe place
absolutely.
to start?
Yes.
You know, so here and there, I'll catch myself retreating back into the, fear of inviting male attention.
Because you get a lot of it.
No. Thanks. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
So one thing I do when I'm starting off, just because, if I'm feeling shy or feeling like I'm retreating, one thing I'll do is walk around and look females in the eye because it's safer and it's a good place to start. And I'm not saying a creepy eye like, hey, girl, I'm checking you out, but just a pleasant.
I'm going to be honest, most women don't mind anyways. I'm the creeper here.
But maybe I'm walking out of a store and a woman's walking in. Mm-hmm. I'll just look her in the eye and then say, hello, how are you? And then continue walking. And I will say in my head, Do not look down now. Keep looking up. That's a big deal.
That is a huge deal and a very important point that you just brought up. A lot of us women, when we do have eye contact, if you'll notice, as soon as we have the eye contact, our eyes go down. That's a level of insecurity that I want you ladies to practice breaking. So I know we're talking specifically just about eye contact right now, but this is the easy entry point for you to practice. So regardless of your past experiences, if you've had some extreme past experiences of victimization, things like that, please go consult with somebody, a professional, get some help, allow yourself to heal because you deserve to heal. For my ladies who are not specifically in that position right now, or you've already done a lot of healing, then start with the eye contact, and then we're going to start to build your boldness, because guys are a lot more receptive to this than we give them credit for. But the other thing is, guys are also very aware of how uncomfortable we are with them right now, and they're not exactly sure how to interact with us anymore. And they're some of them, well, they couldn't care less, but there's a majority of them that would love to interact with us in a fun, playful way, flirtatious way that's not sexual, but they're afraid to because they're so scared it's going to be misinterpreted. Okay, so what's the problem, the big overwhelming problem with hyperfocus and that leads to obsession? The big thing here, and I already talked about this some, but the big thing here, the reason why this is something you need to address if you have a tendency to it, is first off, we equate it for love. And I'm not saying that there are not components of loving somebody in this. The problem is that we've now skewed it to a place where men aren't able to reciprocate. Men are not wired to take on your undivided romantic attention when they don't feel that way about you yet. So you are literally, and subconsciously you know this, and this is a protective mechanism for them, but you are literally pushing them away by keeping your undivided attention on them and saying, I just can't stop thinking about anybody else. There's nobody else that makes me feel this way. All of those things.
Yeah, suffocating.
It is.
Suffocating.
It's energetically suffocating.
Yes.
So it's really important for you to, instead of try to give me excuses, which is what I used to do. I used to come up with all the excuses. This is just the way I feel. Nobody's ever made me feel this way. I can't help it, Jen. I can't do that. And these all things that I did, you have to give up these excuses and realize it is time to address this. This is not okay for you to keep doing, because ultimately this is a choice that we make. Now, this doesn't negate your power in choosing what you want romantically. What you are saying is that hyperfocus that leads and that gets stronger and stronger, where you're always checking for this specific guy. And I know what we do, ladies. So there's no reason to deny it. We all do it. It doesn't matter how successful we are in life, how much we claim how strong we are, every single one of us does it. We meet a guy that we really, really like, and we start either marrying him in our head, or we're constantly checking our phone. We'll stalk him on the internet, social media stalking. We'll do all kinds of things in hopes that he is going to keep paying attention to us. And then we freak the fuck out. Like, he'll have great communication with us for a while, and then all of a sudden his communication changes just a little bit or a lot, and we freak out. And it's not a reason to freak out. There's no fucking reason there. Sometimes communication changes based on things that are going on in our life, and we make it all about him. And oh my God, he doesn't like me anymore. He doesn't want me. I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then we've stepped into this world of drama because we are being told time and time again that that's what it means to love somebody, to have really strong feelings for them. And all these all this is hyperfocus and obsession. It is a choice. Yes, there is a level of discipline that you're going to have to engage here, but it is a choice.
Jen, do you care if I share a story?
No, of course I don't.
Okay.
Ladies, do you care? I'm sure you don't. Jen has great stories.
Press 3 if you care. We won't hear it.
Press 3. No, we won't.
So a couple of years ago, I was dating this gentleman. And when I met him, he was so fun. And everybody really, really liked him. And we had a blast together. And it felt so great. He was like a big teddy bear kind of guy, and he'd hug me and hold me, and it felt amazing. And he was telling me he hadn't felt this way in years. And I didn't always meet a guy I connected to this quickly either. And so it was fun and I liked him and I thought about it because it felt good. And I thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it and overly thought about it and thought about it. And then, like you said, communication changed a little. He kind of I think he got comfortable, it wasn't, no reason why the communication changed, just life was happening and he was maybe had to pay attention to work or maybe had, something that interested him, sports or who knows what it was. But that sent me into fear. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's happening here? Is he withdrawing? And Jen, I know now that all of that was me being terrified that he was pulling away from me and mm-hmm. I was going to lose another opportunity in love. And that meant that something, if it didn't work out, then that said that something's wrong with me mm-hmm. because our relationship didn't work. And here it is, potentially another. Of course, this escalated through weeks and I didn't think all those thoughts immediately, but it caused me to change the way I behaved with him, which didn't allow the relationship to flow naturally because now I'm coming from a place of fear.
And then all of a sudden we get into the conversations or what are we doing here? Is everything okay? Mm-hmm. And we're freaking out on these guys that are, maybe just tending to stuff that they've been neglecting because they were spending a lot of time with you mm-hmm. or, they had something happen in their life, all these things. And we've made it about them and we get really angry with them because they're exploring this opportunity instead of nailing it down with you right away. So that's a perfect example.
Yeah. And then just one more bit of information here is that when I'm single, I'm really, really good at building myself up and giving myself positive affirmations. But hopefully this is not me anymore. I don't think it will be, but I've noticed in this relationship that I quit doing that when he came around because it felt so good and I didn't have to anymore because mm-hmm. I felt good in life because his energy and mine together felt wonderful. So I quit the affirmations and then he pulls back and I no longer have those affirmations and I no longer build myself up or focus on the things that I love in life. And now it's a void. And what do I do? So...
Okay, so this is also important in relation to that and something to remember. Ladies, especially when you step into our world, you'll start to see that men want to make us happy. But here's the thing. They cannot make us happy. They cannot. They are not the key to our happiness. Okay? Mm-hmm. We are the key to our happiness. And the faster you accept that and understand if things change or communication changes and you turn to yourself, and then, of course, a couple other options that I'm going to give you in a second, and understand that hyperfocus and obsession is a choice, you are going to be so much happier, which is going to draw in the love that you want. You cannot do it when you're hyper-focused, when you're making it about him, making it about energy and saying, and basically saying that man is the only one you can ever feel this way with. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I know it is bullshit because I'll tell you, I've probably felt this way about 20 guys. And each time a newer, greater version comes. So yeah, proven wrong there.
Okay. So since men aren't wired to do it this way, and that's okay to accept, it's actually, even though we've been conditioned to think that this is who we are and socialized to think, we are supposed to only date one person for a while, see if it works out. Then if it doesn't work out, then we can move on. I actually want you to know something different. And if you've been here for a while, you know what I'm talking about. The answer to this is Mantourage dating. The answer is to stop putting all of your eggs in his basket and understand that this is more about you than it is him. Hyperfocus, obsession, always a choice. Always a choice. Yes, there are some biochemical things happening that contribute to it, but you can stop those easily if you decide to with your habits and routines. This is a biochemical reaction that is built up by the habits of the checking the phone, going on this, when you spend time with them, it's all about him, not honoring yourself. Those are habits that you have used to reinforce this hyperfocus because momentarily it feels so good to feel so free. But what I'm telling you, when I say feel so free, I mean if it feels like you're not having to do anything to feel that way. But what I'm telling you is that you're actually wasting a ton of energy and putting a lot of work into something that's a lot more simple than that. The upfront may not feel quite as simple because you're used to the old way, this way of hyperfocus, but the new way, once you start to repeatedly do it, it's amazingly freeing. It's so much better. So what do I mean by that? Mantourage dating. One of the things that I learned to do during my mantourage dating experiences, and as all of you know by now, my husband used to go MIA for 5 weeks at a time when we were dating, not when not after we were together.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
Okay. So the mindset in mantourage dating that I used is I always assumed that, and I didn't ask because I didn't want to really confirm anything. I just assumed that we were dating. So there was no understood, or there was no we owe each other any kind of exclusivity. I was dedicated to my dating experiences and paying attention to the men who were treating me the way I wanted to be treated. When my husband was MIA, I was not paying attention to him. Okay. I was focused on the other men in my mantourage or on things that were very important to me, because when we get hyper-focused and get to obsession, I know what you lazies are doing. You're dropping everything else in your life except for maybe a handful of important things, and you're starting to feel crazier and crazier because of the fact you know how much you are neglecting. So when a guy pulls away, when you start to feel that hyper-focus coming on, that hyper-focus is your initial key to turn your attention. Now, if you're still, once you start turning your attention, if you're still having an extreme form of that, one of the best ways to break it in that moment is also to go serve, meaning go focus on somebody who has a much bigger situation in their life that they need help with, whether that be a friend, whether that be a volunteer situation, something like that. Focus on something that is much, much bigger than you to start to break that. Focus on your dating situation. If you need help understanding mantourage dating, a couple of things I want you to do. Go to mantouragedating.com and you can get my free ebook there to go through some of the frequently asked questions, the basic format of it, so that you understand that what you're actually stepping into and you're not buying into things in your head that aren't actually true about mantourage dating. Now, the second piece of that is one of the best ways to mantourage date is by online dating. And I'm not talking about half-ass online dating. If you half-ass anything, you're going to get half-ass results, especially in online dating. In fact, in online dating, if you half-ass it, you're going to get full-ass results.
Yeah. And honestly, I think we're all here listening to this and taking all this in because we want the real deal. Mm-hmm. We don't want half-ass anything. Nobody wants a half-ass man.
So you have to be willing to put some effort into your experience, which comes from you. So with that said, go to helpmeonlinedate.com and I'm going to give you the first 2 chapters of my online dating program for free, because I want to teach you how to put together a profile that is going to attract the kind of guys that you actually want in your mantourage. Profile and pictures. And you'll get the first 2 chapters for free. And I'm going to help you with an exercise to start unlocking some really important things about you that's going to be amazing to him.
Word.
Jen. Gosh, I love you, Jen.
I love you too.
Now, as you start working this muscle, if you still find yourself struggling, I do have a program that I put together with a world-renowned hypnotherapist that addresses all of this on a subconscious level, plus a conscious level, plus the action steps to go through it so that you can start breaking this pattern. Because living in constant hyperfocus or obsession, which I used to do, I was a repeat offender with obsession.
Me too, over and over.
No, Jen, I'm not kidding when I say I was bad. I was stalker bad.
Okay, well, you can take the cake on that one.
Okay. I want it. I want this prize.
You win.
I totally win.
Just kidding.
I'm really passionate about women not living from this place, because you don't have to. It legitimately, I'm not saying it's all, cupcakes and rainbows and shit like that, but it's legitimately a choice. We can rewire ourselves to not be that way. So I have a program called the lovesickcure.com that I did with world-renowned hypnotherapist who this program is just amazing. And I want to help you break all the biochemical pieces, all the habitual pieces, all the pieces that are keeping you from truly experiencing the love you want. Because here's the thing, is so long as you stay in hyper-focus, let's say somehow miraculously, and it will be miraculous, that he comes to you and says, I want to be with you. It will be absolutely fucking miraculous if you're in this state and he actually does that, because it happens so very rarely. But I'm going to tell you what, you've already made that entire relationship about him. And so the only way to maintain it once you set it up that way is to keep making it about him. And guess what happens? You fall apart. You, as a single ambitious woman, will start picking the hell out of him at some point and rip the relationship apart anyways, because it's all about him, and it's fucking exhausting to make a relationship all about somebody else.
Boy, have I done that.
Tell us about it, Jen.
Oh gosh. Well, gosh, which one do I pick? I was just such a queen of being in my own head and picking apart every single detail, and I didn't do it on my terms, Jen. I didn't take the time to see that this guy was a choice that I wanted, because I was too worried and afraid that I would lose my chance at love.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of knowing that the right man is going to come. And just because somebody doesn't work out doesn't mean anything bad about me. It means this person's not my person.
Yep.
And so anyway, I was just always, in the moment of feeling the fun of it and then taking it to a new level. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of women, and this is what I do too, when you get into hyperfocus and obsession, you've made it all about him and you're trying so hard to figure out how to turn him on and how to attract him. And that's exhausting to maintain long term, because you're always worried that you're going to do something that's going to push him away. And when you're always worried that you're going to do something to push him away, you're probably going to trip up and do it anyways. Or what's going to happen undoubtedly is at some point you're going to be pissed that you're doing this for so long and that he hasn't taken the reins and made it okay for you. But remember, this is a choice. This is a choice that we did and we set the precedent for. And then we bitch about it later that he didn't just know how to fix it for us.
Right.
And then we talk about how we don't need anybody to rescue us, but we're asking him to rescue us by making this choice.
And you're exhausting the hell out of yourself in the process.
Yes. And ladies, you've got enough on your plate. In fact, I want you to keep pulling more stuff off your plate so that you can spend time enjoying your life as much as possible and have the time to go out on amazing dates. So don't exhaust yourself with hyperfocus and obsession. It's really not worth your time. You can make a choice even today that you're not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to say every piece of it is going to be easy, especially if you've done this a lot in the past like I did, but it is worth every step of the way.
Today's show is brought to you by thelovesickcure.com. Does your love life suck because you can't move on from the idea of him? Does every man you meet pale in comparison to the way he made you feel? It's okay, lady love. We 100% understand and have been there before. Whether you'd like the opportunity to get him back or to completely move on, we know this only happens when you cure your heartbreak and love sickness. Let us help you do that today at thelovesickcure.com.
Thank you, Lover Girl, for joining us on this romantic fairy godmama edition of Single Smart Female. Don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, as well as visit us at singlesmartfemale.com.
We'll talk to you next time.
And here's to you having everything you want in life and love.